Star Wars is going completely queer, so says Leslie Headland, the showrunner and creator of the upcoming Acolyte series for Disney Plus. This is coming from Bounding Into Comics, which Leslie Headland recently confirmed that the upcoming Star Wars series, The Acolyte, will look into what's going on for all of us right now. She confirmed that the upcoming Star Wars series on Disney Plus will be a commentary on current American society, culture, and politics. In an interview with Empire magazine that was shared to the Star Wars Leaks subreddit, Headland discussed the series, saying, when you're doing something completely original, like we are, you want to question the status quo of the era that you live in. Something completely original? Star Wars has been around for 40 plus years. This isn't exactly original. This isn't something brand new that we've never seen before. We've seen Jedi, we've seen Sith, we've seen the battle for good and evil. So what are you talking about in regards to this? So she continued, what I think is so interesting right now is that everybody thinks they're right. The Jedi really think they're right. And George Lucas tells us that they're wrong in The Phantom Menace. They missed a huge aspect of the dark side rising. That just felt like fertile ground to look into what's going on for all of us right now. You know, what's really funny when you, and you can definitely tell she's looking at the conservative versus liberal side of things in the United States and the political climate right now. And the liberals always love to take the side that looks at the conservatives as being the evil empire of Star Wars. They always try to twist the narrative that is the case. And really, it's the other way around. But as she says, everybody thinks they're right, right? Well, I know I am here. But it doesn't end there. How can Star Wars get any more ridiculous than it's becoming right now? So not only does she confirm that it will be a commentary on current American society, culture, and politics, but she seemed to imply the focus of the show being on female villains in self-inserts. The Force is female, everyone. Don't forget that. The Force is female. When I was a young queer girl, because she has to mention queer, that is an important aspect of this whole thing, is that she was a young queer girl. I was just hanging out with Ursula, the sea witch from The Little Mermaid. Was Ursula a queer character? Was she a gay character? No, she was trying to get with Prince Eric. She was pretty straight and pretty maniacal and evil of being a straight woman. But as a queer girl growing up, if you don't identify with the heroes and the villains show up and they're all queer coded, you're like, yes, that's me. Ursula wasn't queer. Did you ever watch The Little Mermaid? She legitimately is trying to marry a dude. She's legitimately trying. Oh, my goodness. She adds, as a queer filmmaker, how many times is she going to say queer? She has to hit that point that she is queer because, look, not only is the Force female, but the Force is queer now, too. As a queer filmmaker, she says, you're going to see some camp. Inevitably. But I would say that tonally, our references are darker. Okay. Do we really have to go down this route? Do we? Why does everything have to be queer, have to be gay? Why does the Alphabet crew, the Alphabet crowd, feel like everything has to be about them now? I'm really interested because I'm not interested. I take that back. I'm not interested. I'm curious on the idea of what they're doing here. Because if they're going to throw some LGBTQLMNOP objects into the Acolyte, that show is going to fail harder than She-Hulk did for Marvel. That show is going to fail and people are going to just bash it to no end. It's already walking dangerously close to the edge, especially with what she's saying. The Force is female now, everybody. Remember, the Force is female. I wouldn't be surprised if they pushed this man-hating, man-bashing that She-Hulk was pushing into this show, but I think it's pretty obvious that they're going to start pushing this concept and idea that it's not just about female empowerment, it's about queer empowerment. Look, the alphabet crowd makes up, less than 2% of the population in the world. When you start catering to that crowd, you're inevitably going to fail. Not to mention that you're manipulating our children. This is a big fight going on right now. And kids like Star Wars. Star Wars is for kids. And these kids are going to go watch Star Wars. And they're going to start believing that they themselves are simply queer. She sits here and says, as a queer girl growing up, if you don't identify with the heroes and the villains show up and they're all queer-coded, which makes no freaking sense to begin with, you're like, yes, that's me. Is Darth Maul queer-coded? Was Emperor Palpatine queer-coded? Darth Vader? That's what I don't get with these people. She's trying to make something out of nothing here. Legitimately, something out of nothing. When I was a young queer girl, I was hanging out with Ursula, who wasn't even queer, gay, or part of the LMNOP crowd. I don't know. I'm just sick and tired of them constantly trying to push this narrative that everything has to be woke. I don't want my kids having this shoved down their throats. If you want to be you, but it's less than 2% of the population. It's less than 2% of the real world. So why does it need to be in everything? Why do they need to continuously push it? You want representation? You want adequate representation? Well, then it should be less than 2% of the films coming out should highlight that or be part of that. But no, it seems like in every cartoon, in every movie, in every TV show, in everything now, there is a gay character, there's a queer character, there's a trans character now in every single thing. I've never felt like I had to go watch a show and I didn't want to watch a show because I didn't feel represented. If it's a good show, if it's written well, if it has good stories, that's what matters. Not that there's a fat white man on it so I can feel represented. I don't freaking care about that. All I care about is it's a good show. But that's not what this leftist woke agenda is about. They want to push their own narratives regardless of if it's good storytelling or not. And enough is enough. Enough is enough. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe. We're almost to 2,000 subscribers. I'd love to hit that sooner rather than later. So please hit that subscribe button on YouTube. With all that said, I'll talk at all of you later.